So what if the only thing standing between you and your next big win is one small consistent action? Sounds simple? I know what it feels like to have dreams stuck on paper, ideas have started, projects waiting for someday. I lived in that delay cycle for years, but everything changed when I stopped waiting for perfect conditions and started taking daily deliberate action. That is why I have created the Delay to Daily Action course. It's a 12-week transformation to help you break the procrastination cycle, build momentum, and finally finish what you start. And guess what? The course officially launches on October 24th. So if you've been waiting for a sign to start, this is it. Visit ngoziedema.com or click this episode show notes to join the wait list and grab the early bird bonuses before they are gone, because your dreams don't need more delay. They need daily action. I am so excited to introduce one of my youngest guests on the show, Taylor Jenkins. Taylor is a young adult fantasy author who has already taken the bold step of self-publishing her books. Her journey is not only inspiring for writers, but also for Gen Z entrepreneurs who are daring to carve out their own paths. In this conversation, we will look into what it's like to write and publish as a young author, the creative process of building fantasy worlds from scratch, and how reading and writing can empower teens to find their unique voice. Taylor will also share the real ups and downs of self-publishing at a young age and what it means to pursue your dreams fearlessly. Whether you're a reader, a writer, educator, parent, or creative, this episode will remind you that age is not a barrier to building something impactful. But before I introduce Taylor, welcome to the Minute Mastery Podcast, a conversational productivity and time management podcast where busy authors and entrepreneurs are inspired to create time for what truly matters. I'm your host, Ngozi Edema. I'm a time management coach, writer, and entrepreneur. Here, you are encouraged to turn your minutes into milestones and to create at least 1 hour a day working on your goals without feeling overwhelmed. And since you are here, I thought I'd let you know of a storybook to give to your favorite kids. Once upon a time, and they lived happily ever after. Children love those phrases. I love them too. And I suspect you may love them too. As a mom, I've spent hours reading and listening to my children read their favorite stories. And now I write stories too. Here is one of them you may want to check out. The Proud Sunflower. It is a story of Princess Sanzu, the sunflower princess. A princess loved by all, but who got into trouble. Within the pages of The Proud Sunflower, you'll encounter what real beauty is. Your kid will love the beautiful story and powerful illustrations. The Proud Sunflower serves as a gentle reminder that we need to stand on the shoulders of others to succeed. So read this story with your little ones and allow it to illuminate the universal language of empathy, forgiveness, and personal growth. The Proud Sunflower is a top book on parenting, morals, and responsibility, and is available in the Kindle store and on paperback format. Excellent for beginner readers. Click the link in the show notes to order yours and check out my other storybooks to read with your kids. Or gift a child a storybook if you do not have kids of your own. Now, it's time to welcome Taylor Jenkins. Welcome to the Minute Mastery Podcast, Taylor. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for coming. So, you published a novel at a young age. What inspired you to start writing so early? And how did you know? And how did you know that? And how did you know your story was ready to share to the world?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always been a big reader as a kid, and I was always reading. And it didn't get until I was in elementary school where I had a teacher tell me, "You're really good at writing," and it was that really motivated me to maybe pursue writing more stories of my own that I could, kind of help other kids who were like me growing up, who were big readers and didn't have a lot of friends that I could give those stories back to them. So that really helped me start writing early. When I was in college, I did a senior project class, and I had my classmates read my book, and they were all like, this book is done. Like, you don't need to edit it anymore. It's as good as it's gonna get." So that was when I took the big leap, and I just decided to publish it. I mean, it was scary, not the best feeling to have other people critique your work, but I was always reminded of those people telling me, "You're a good writer. You should share this with other people." And so that's just kind of how it happened.
I am so admire the fact that yeah, you took the commendation from your teacher who told you that you're a good writer. And it's a lesson for teachers. Teachers have a role to play
Yes.
in the life of a child. And so if they see a child doing well, if they see that they can do well in certain areas, to be a great thing for teachers to encourage them to carry on with what they're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. I agree. I mean, it was all of my teachers, elementary, high school, college, like, yeah, I agree. If you're a teacher, you should encourage your kids. You never know where they're gonna go. So I think it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing that. Fantasy worlds are incredibly complex. Yes,
Yeah,
especially for me.
that's
So
okay.
can you walk us through your creative process when building a world from scratch?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think growing up, like I mentioned, I read a lot and it was mostly fantasy books, but I also take a lot from the world around us and try to see things that I would change if I could change anything. My book right now, The Academy for Young Supervillains, it takes place in our world, but with fantasy elements. And so I just kind of wanted to implement some things that just talking about, uh, different people in our society and how we can embrace those differences and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think for fantasy in general, it's just about doing what you want. But obviously, stay grounded, take what you know and expand on it. Don't make it like everybody else, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Okay, so now you're creating a world. Like for me, in my own world, I want to see peace.
Yes.
I want to see people not suffering or not they having food. So you can look at what you think in your what are the things that inspires you? What are the things you want to see in the world? And you
Yeah.
kind of put it in a book.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I want to see, peace. I want to see progression. I want people to know that they're not alone. And I think sometimes, we as humans have a lack of empathy for others. And I wanted to put that in my world where maybe this is a place where we do have more empathy, but yeah, like you said, just more peace and understanding and, stuff like that.
Thank you. Thank you. So, sorry, I don't know if you've touched this already. So, where do you start from when you're starting this
Oh,
creative
yes,
thing from
yes.
scratch?
So for me with this book, I was a big fan of superheroes growing up, and I was really fascinated by the concept of having these enhanced people living in the world of humans and like the comparison, and like Marvel and DC. I was a big fan of those and still am. But I wanted to do something a little bit different where it's not so cut and dry that there are these heroes and there are these villains and there's no in between. I wanted to have an in between. So I started with that, the idea of a character that is both hero and villain and doesn't really fit in anywhere. And then from that, the world came. And it's kind of like the concept of the world where you have to be one or the other. You have to be a hero or a villain. You have to be good or bad. And so and so yeah, it just started with a character for me. And then it started and the world was created.
Okay. So, how has writing helped you discover or strengthen your own voice, not just as a writer, but as a person?
Good question. I think for me as a writer, it's helped me be able to understand people more because I'm writing about other people who aren't me. And so it's able to give me more, like I said before, empathy for other people and for what they might be going through. But for me as a person, it's really just helped me understand myself. In my book, there are some things where my friends and family will point out and they're like, this is so you. You did that on purpose. That's you. And I have to be like, no, that was my character, but you're right, that is me. I think it's interesting whenever you write a story, you will always find pieces of yourself in that story. And I think that's beautiful. And I think I really found myself in the story that I was writing for other people.
So when you're writing, do people and your surroundings, do they inspire you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's as simple as a conversation with a stranger. And, it inspires me to implement that in my story, but other times it's characteristics of friends or family members and, experiences from as a kid. It's everything. I take everything around me into consideration for my story because I want it to feel as real and relatable as possible.
Good. So you went the self-publishing route. I think you are brave.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, because self-publishing takes you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because usually writers are creatives. We focus more on our work. But when you self-publish, it takes you to a route that you are not familiar with, like marketing and like
Yes,
getting
yes.
people to edit your work and book cover and all the other elements that come together to put your book in the place you want it to be. So self-publishing can be overwhelming for anyone. So, what were your biggest challenges and what did you learn from them?
I mean, yeah, like you said, it was just getting over that initial hump of I have to let other people read and critique my work. I have to put this out there. But I think most of it was just the waiting, just waiting to get edited, waiting to like finally finalize everything and, understand everything that was going on. I had a company do this one for me. So they did like the majority of the work, but I did the cover myself and it was just I would say the cover was hard because I wanted to make it appeal to both all audiences, all ages, and I had to do like surveys. So I'd get surveys from kids and adults and teens and I would be like, "Do you like this cover more? Do you like this cover more?" And I would say it was just the entire thing was a process of trial and error. But when I finally got the finished product, it was so surreal. It was like this, it's all coming together, the story's here. But yeah, I would say the cover and the waiting was the hardest parts. And from that, I've learned that being patient is a virtue. I'm still working on that, but every second you work on your book is going to count and it's going to matter.
Thank you. So, when they finish editing your work, did you still hear your voice in the work, in the final work?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
Sometimes they edit it and you can't find your
Yeah,
voice anymore.
right. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, but they were really good with me. They actually suggested things that made the book a lot better, which I loved. And there were some times when I was editing that I was like, I feel like I'm losing a part of like the story, but it wasn't the case. I have a tendency to hold on to all the things that I've made because they're special to me, but it's not always important to the story. It's not always important to the characters. It's just important to me. And so sometimes you do have to sacrifice those things that you love as the author, but aren't going to make your story better.
Yeah. So it's hard to let go of certain things that you've put in
Mhm.
your book because I have been there.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun, but
It's
it's
not
worth it.
fun. Yeah, it's just like a part of me has been taken away from the book. Yeah, yeah. So, what advice would you give to other young writers who have a story in their hearts, but they're afraid to put it out there?
Yeah, I mean, I would
Sorry,
just,
sorry.
oh, keep
Before
going.
you answer that question, I'm so sorry for cutting you in.
No, it's okay.
I
It's
wanted
okay.
to ask the first question: were you scared of putting yours out?
Yes, yes. I mean, 100% I was. But I also understood that I can't keep it in anymore. Like, I was at the point where I had to share it with more than just my family, with more than just my friends, because it meant a lot to me and I wanted it to mean a lot to other people. And so, yeah, it is scary. It's the scariest thing you're probably ever going to do.
Okay, so now
But
you
yeah.
overcome your own fear.
Hmm.
You overcame your
Yes,
own
yes.
fear and you finally put yours out there. So, what
Hmm.
advice will you give to other young writers who have a story in their hearts, but they're so scared to put it out there?
Yeah, I would say, like, I know how you feel. I know it's scary, but honestly, just go for it. Like, it's gonna be so amazing when you hold your book in your hands for the first time, and it's gonna be the best feeling in the world. And it will always be hard. Like, I'm working on more books right now. It's still scary to share them with the world, but it gets to the point, like I said, where, you know, you just have to do it. And if you don't feel that urge, then maybe don't. But I did, and I'm glad I did. But I would also say for young writers especially, have fun and stay grounded. Writing is supposed to be fun. Write what you love, and you will find the audience that loves your work.
Hmm. Okay. So the next question I want to ask, because you said you wrote your book when you were in college. Yeah. And so you were a very busy person. So,
Yes.
and this show is a show for authors and entrepreneurs. And most times, many authors and entrepreneurs complain they don't have time to do what they need to do. So, where did you find the time? You were busy yourself. How did you
Uh,
do it?
it wasn't easy, but yeah, when I was in college full time, and then I had two part-time jobs, and obviously I still had to take care of the house responsibilities and all of that. But I think you just have to sacrifice things that aren't so important to you, like video games or watching movies or going out to eat every night, stuff like that. It's just little things that will add up. And find the times where you're most productive writing and dedicate that time only for writing. I know it's hard and you might have some late nights. I know I did, but it's just a matter of balance.
So, were you living at home? Were you going to college from home?
Yeah, yeah. I was lucky enough to live with my parents and they helped me, dedicate that time. So I think that also helps is having friends and family or like the saying goes, it takes a village. I think it takes a village to write a book. So luckily I had a support system who was there to help me when I needed to dedicate time to writing. So I think that helps too.
That it does help. So you'd use the support system of your family to help you to move, which is very good because sometimes young people don't explore that support system that they have. And that is something to move you forward. And it helped you. So thank you for sharing your story with us. Now, if your main character were to advise this audience, what will your main character say?
That's a really good question. He would probably say, you're not alone and, just keep trying to be the best you can. I think a big message in the book is all about friendship and acceptance and finding those people who will accept you as you are. And so I think if you can find those friends, then hold on to them. But yeah, I think you're not alone is the best message he could give.
Okay, you're not alone.
Hmm.
Everyone else is struggling and you can do it, right?
Yes, yes, 100%.
Okay. Okay. So now that's your main character.
Yeah.
How about you? If you have a message for this audience, what will it be?
Yeah, I would say be brave. Take risks, do things that you don't think you would do, like publishing a book. Everyone has always told me, "Oh my gosh, I've always loved to do that, but I just can't get around to it." And I always tell them, like, it's just a leap of faith. You just have to try. If it's not for you, then you'll find out. But I think if you have a story, then you need to share it. So be brave, share it, and see what happens.
Thank you very much. So your story is inspiring, it's motivating. If you do you have any message for parents, for entrepreneurs, and for creatives? I know you've said something about entrepreneurs already, but what about parents? Because parents they play a pivotal role in helping
For
their
sure.
children. So what will you
Yeah.
say to them?
Parents especially, I mean, my parents have been the best support for me. I would say encourage your child when they come to you with their story. Don't judge it, just embrace it, but be honest, like uh I think the best thing that helped me with my parents was that they were honest with me. They told me this needs to be worked on, but this is great, you know? So that balance of honesty and encouragement, I think, is so vital for someone who is wanting to pursue this as a profession. So, but yeah, parents, you're doing great. I know it's not easy, but your kids really do appreciate you. And who knows, maybe they might dedicate their book after you one day. So,
Oh, that would be fun. Yes.
yeah,
So
yeah,
when you bring their stories that were written in crayons and
yes,
pencils, the parents should look at those paintings and the
hmm,
stories behind the paintings. Yeah,
yes,
because
yes, for sure.
it will go far.
Hmm.
So where can this audience find you to connect with you?
Yeah, yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. My Instagram is at author.taylor.a.jenkins. And then my Facebook is just Taylor A. Jenkins. So yeah,
Okay.
you could go there.
Thank you very much, Taylor, for coming to the show. We
Yeah,
really, really were inspired by you, and keep doing what you do.
thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate being on here. It was great.
Yeah, keep doing what you do. So, what's an inspiring conversation with Taylor Jenkins? Her story is powerful reminder that creativity has no age limits, and that with courage, persistence, and a little imagination, young people can step into their own spotlights. If Taylor's journey spoke to you, whether you're an aspiring writer, a parent encouraging your child's creativity, or an entrepreneur chasing a dream, remember that your ideas matter and your voice deserves to be heard. So get on with the work you are doing, and one day we will read from you. Earlier on, I told you about the Delay to Daily Action course. Your dreams have waited long enough. My 12-week program will help you beat procrastination and finally get results. It launches October 24th. If you are ready to turn your ideas into action, go to ngoziedema.com or click the link in this episode show notes to join the waitlist. It's time to stop delaying and start doing. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Minute Mastery Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who could use more time in their day, and remember to subscribe and leave us a review. Until next time, you are in control of your time and you've got this.